Kamala Harris appeared on a CNN town hall, and when she did, she said that she was for Medicare for All. Here's her clip.
I believe the solution, and I'm actually feel very strongly about this, is that we need to have Medicare for all. That's just the bottom line. And I'll say this, and this is, I think, why you're also asking this question. What we know is that to live in a civil society, to be true to the ideals and the spirit of who we say we are as a country, we have to appreciate and understand that access to health care should not be thought of as a privilege. It should be understood to be a right. It should be understood to be something that all people should be entitled to so that they can live a productive life, so they can have dignity. And having a system that makes a difference in terms of who receives what based on your income is unconscionable, it is cruel, and in many situations that I have witnessed, inhumane.
Now, I believe her. I think she is genuinely for Medicare for all. I think she's telling the truth here. I think she really means this. I just think the problem is for Kamala and many politicians is that they're career politicians and they are willing to set aside their own personal beliefs for what they think others might want instead. And when it comes to Wall Street and big money donors and making the establishment happy, I think that Kamala Harris is willing to negotiate and compromise on what she believes in order to win an election. And that is problematic because ultimately that doesn't win anybody and it shouldn't win. And this time I really hope it doesn't win. I hope that playing politics this time does not win. But here's the report. So this came out on CNN the day after she did the CNN town hall. So it says Republicans attacked Harris within minutes of her remarks, tweeting that she says she wants to eliminate private insurance even if you like your plan. That's what people were tweeting. She says she wants to eliminate private insurance even if you like your plan. Well, guess what? You're going to like your Medicare for All plan a lot better than your current plan. You're going to like it a lot more. By Tuesday morning, former Starbucks boss Howard Schultz was piling on, and fellow billionaire potential presidential candidate Michael Bloomberg, the former mayor of New York, was dismissing the entire plan as a fiscally ruinous pipe dream. Yeah. Even though everybody else in the Western world has some form of universal health care or single-payer health care, they just make sure that their entire population is covered. And yet it's somehow, for America, the wealthiest of all of those nations, it's, you know, a pipe dream and ruinous. Yeah, okay, guys. As the furor grew, a Harris advisor on Tuesday signaled that the candidate would also be open to more moderate health reform plans, which would preserve the industry being floated by other congressional Democrats. It represents a compromise position that risks angering Medicare for All proponents who view eliminate private health insurance as key to enacting their comprehensive reform. Wait a minute here. So this is saying that they signaled that they'd be open to more moderate health care, but they don't want to piss off those who are for Medicare for All, who know that the only way for it to work is to eliminate the private insurance companies, or at least severely limit how they operate, which I'm really for. I'm for a supplemental private insurance for people who want to have fancier hospitals and private rooms and, you know, all this other fancier stuff. Okay, fine. So how do you have how do you roll out a moderate health reform plan while not pissing off these people like myself and probably you who feel like, no, you have to have just comprehensive overhaul of the system where you say, look, we're just not going to turn this into a capitalistic system. Healthcare, cancer, you getting into a car accident. These things should not be based on capitalism. Some things, okay, fine. You want to be a big capitalist, you know, and I want to be clear, I am with some. I'm not a socialist. I am a capitalist with some. I do believe in leveling the playing field. So I think that unregulated hyper-capitalism is absolutely ruinous. But at the same time, I do believe in certain programs to be completely socialized, education being one of them and healthcare being another. I mean, obviously, you guys, seriously, if you think that private health is the way to go, let me just tell you some stories about Asia, because a lot of those Asian countries are living completely on capitalistic healthcare. Let me just tell you about my aunt who's right now dying in Vietnam. And the way it works, when I was speaking to my family in Vietnam, I said, so what's up with health insurance or what? And my cousin, who is nursing her mother every day, helping her mother, who is unfortunately in a hospital. Actually, she's not in a hospital, who's at home dying. I asked her about this, and she said, well, we don't really have insurance. It's not very good. And when you get a diagnosis like this, if you can't afford to pay a lot of money, then they just send you home. That's what capitalistic health care looks like. That's what that is. And that is not what we want. We do not want a capitalistic healthcare system. And anyone who is still a proponent of it should just, honestly, in my opinion, rot in hell. I mean, sorry, I shouldn't say that. That's mean. But it's really, I mean, it's unconscionable. It's immoral. It's unethical. It is wrong. And it's not something that you would want for yourself or for your children or for your grandchildren. And we need to fix the system. Medicare for All is the way for the system to be fixed. And now there's a few different ways you can implement that. There are layers to it that you could add, like I said, private insurance on top. So if you want a private room, or if you want, a fancy room for delivering your baby, or extra special testing, or all that kind of stuff, then that's something private insurance can cover. But right now, we need to eliminate the current system, and we need to go to something that is not like these other countries in the world that just rob people of their lives if they don't have the money. So it's a harsh reality for those of us who actually intimately live it in a variety of ways. You do not want Vietnam's healthcare system, guys. You don't. Okay. Now that I've pissed off some people by calling them names, I know I shouldn't resort to that, right? Anyway, we're going to move on with the show. You forgive me, right? You forgive me. You get it. You get it. Okay. Coming up, I want to talk about this bill that actually is being proposed by Ocasio-Cortez and Pelosi and some others. And it's actually meant to close the gender gap in salaries. It's a really great bill. I think actually there's some other measures that can be taken that could further propel us into happier work environments and lack of discrimination when it comes to salaries in the workplace. And that is coming up next.